Howdy folks, let me introduce to you the newest addition to Sunny Grove Farm. It's a 1972 John Deere 7020. She's riding on 18434 rubber, dual all the way around. Of course has a standard synchro range transmission. This one has the 2-speed splitter. Don't know if that was on all of them or if it was an option. I've heard it kind of debated both ways. Really not 100% sure. I'll need to do some research to confirm that. We've laid claim to the tractor for probably 4 years. We've owned it for 2. It's sat not but 6 or 7 miles from here. And we just finally brought it home 2 nights ago. Excuse me. Like I said, it's a 1972 model. Come around the back here. First thing you're going to notice is this dirt scoop loader bucket creation. The previous owner of this tractor was, he was quite an inventor. Had a lot of ideas running through his mind, and he had just enough tools to bring some of them to reality. And that's kind of where I'll leave that one. He loved stainless steel. There's a drawbar pin right there that's also stainless steel. On, you can't really see it from here, but the 2510 that's hooked to the tedder, it's got some stainless steel additions on it as well that were his. And that tractor was, I don't know if Carl actually owned it or if he kind of added some of that stuff to it when Dave owned it. But anyhow, we bought this tractor off of his daughter and son-in-law, Dave and Carla Schuler, which a lot of people in this area are going to know who I'm talking about. But anyhow, I just want to show you the serial number tag. T773R002021R. Yep, 2021. That's fitting enough. That's the year we brought it home. She's got 4 pairs. 4 pair. There's 4 wheel weights on the inside of each set of duals. So there's 16 wheel weights on this tractor in total. 4 pairs of sets, 4 sets of pairs, 4, and 4. There. That's 16. Yeah, it's pretty well standard 4620 fair back here, I believe. This tractor is essentially, I mean, of course there's a lot of differences, don't get me wrong, but at its core, it is a 4620 articulated 4-wheel drive. When we started tinkering on this tractor 4 years ago, we actually had it cranking. I thought we got a little bit of smoke once, but I really don't know. As you can see, the top of that injector pump there is cracked open, and there's a bottle of Marvel Mystery Oil sitting right there. So either yesterday or earlier today, Dad has been out here and tinkering on it. Excuse me. We figure what's happened is the pumping plungers in the hydraulic head of that pump have just gotten gummed up and stuck from sitting. But it does have the screw-in type injectors. KDEL, I think is what they call them. But anyhow, to kind of give you some more of the backstory of this tractor. Like I said, we've kind of claimed it for 4 years. We've owned it for 2. Actually, this and the 2510 came as a package deal. We bought both of them for one money. So anyway, kind of the backstory on this tractor. I'll be 30 years old in November, and I don't ever remember this tractor running and moving. Actually, let's go back around to the other side here. Legend has it that Carl parked this tractor because it leaked a bunch. And as you can see, we've got a steel strap in there where a steering cylinder ought to be. like what's over on the other side. Allegedly it started leaking, and I don't know if he just parked it and lost interest or if there were other problems. We don't know. We just don't know. And that's why, excuse me, good Lord. That's why we're trying to get it running first. And then once we get it running, I'll show you up here. We have the, oh, you can't see it from there. Oh, yep. You can see right there, we've got the hydraulic pump coupler taken completely off. That was just so when we were cranking it, trying to get it to run 4 years ago, it wouldn't actually try and pump any oil, hydraulic oil. And like I said, we did have it cranking, we had it turning over. Sounding pretty good, actually. Just from that, it cranked over pretty good. Really good, actually, considering it's got one of those godforsaken Delco 35 MT starters on it. I wouldn't have one of them on a wheelbarrow ever again. I had one of those on the 4230 out there hooked to the baler. And the first chance I had to put a nip and denso on it, I did. And I do not regret that, and I will not regret that decision. It cranks so much better now with a nip and denso on it. But anyhow, that's a different tractor for a different time. Oh, okay. Looks like Dad and Peg have been out here and cleaned the cab out, so that's a good thing, good sign. Yes, it needs a seat. It's kind of odd for a cab tractor to need a seat, but it's whatever. Headliner and everything, clear gone in it. I see we've got a couple of extra ventilation holes that need something done with them. Plugged off. It's got a, oh good Lord, that's a Montgomery Ward CB radio. I'll be. Okay. Some kind of Sparkomatic speaker there. I don't know what this one is. Another speaker. Of course, he added a radio in it as well. Is that camera lens dirty? If it was, it's clean now. Anyhow, this is the high-low shift that I had talked about briefly before. I've heard some say it's an option. I've heard some say it was standard. But basically what it did is it took your 8-speed synchro range and turned it into a 16-speed. And it actually has a pretty good... There's obviously an over-center spring in there, but that knuckled over pretty good. Let me do something with these rattling keys. Okay, so anyhow, from the seat, here's your operator station looking out over the hood. You'll notice in the 70 and the 7520, which the 7020, like I mentioned a minute ago, is essentially a 4620 set up as a four-wheel drive articulated. There are other differences, obviously. The 7520 is basically a 6030 four-wheel drive. It's so the 7020 has got the 404 turbocharged intercooled engine up to 72 like the 4620 had. In 73, and they built these up to 75 or 76, I believe. Up to, or from 73 onward, they had the same engine as the 4630. Now, it was still a 404. They just had some minor differences, and they got more horsepower out of them. These are rated, I believe these were rated at 146 horse, if I'm not mistaken. And then I don't remember what the 7520 was rated as. I know the 6030 is rated at 175, which was kind of a lie because most of them left the factory at 200 or 225, but that's neither here nor there. Just some interesting differences about the 7020. You'll see that it's twin stick shifted, and those knobs are also faded out orange. Up to 72, the knobs on all the levers and control handles were black. In 73, when the Gen 2 came around, all of your shifters had an orange knob. And I'll have to look on the 6030 because I can't remember if it's got a black or an orange throttle knob. And your PTO went to a yellow knob. That's also something that I know is optional on this tractor, is the 3-point and PTO. Not all 70 and 7520s had that. But the the most notable difference on the 70 and 75 is the shifter arrangement. And I have a feeling I'm really going to like this. This twin stick setup, and the cables are, well, that one shifts actually pretty easy. But where on your normal synchro range, it's controlled by just one lever. Basically, this handle controls or shifts what would be the gears on the left side of the quadrant, and this one does the gears that would be on the right side of the quadrant when you tip the lever from one side over to the other in each of the corresponding notches. For people that have never been around them, this makes a lot more sense, and it gives you, it kind of tells you what gear is where in them, although that decal is in pretty poor shape. But yeah, with that and the 2-speed, you get 16 forward gears in these. Now, another notable difference about the 70 and 7520 compared to the 4620 and the 6030 counterpart is these have a transmission driven PTO. It's not an independent live PTO like you would think. So this, even though it controls a valve like it does on the 4620, when you step on the clutch pedal, everything disconnects. Now they changed that when they went to the 84 and 8630s, which I'll get back out in a second here and show you. But basically, in the knuckle, or in the bending joint, basically directly under the seat here, these tractors only have 2 shafts. There's one coming from the clutch going back, and then there's another one going from the transmission going forward. Obviously, the one from the transmission going forward powers your front axle, and then the one coming from the clutch back controls your entire transmission, which the whole transmission is there behind you on this one. So, like I said, that's another notable difference. But if you notice here, and that whole spiel was to point this out, if you notice on this decal, for 1000 RPM PTO operation in high range, you run the engine at 1900, and then in low range for 1000 RPM PTO, you run it at 2200. Once again, with it being a transmission driven PTO, and this splitter is basically, I guess you would say, before the PTO drive. You'll also notice on the Tach is very different for a 20 series tractor. You've got high and low on your readout, and then you've also got 2 PTO speed lines. One of them marked high, the other one marked low. Again, just something worth pointing out. And does this one? Oh yes, this one turns. Okay, cool. Huh. Usually these are froze up and stuck. And like I said, the high-low is basically just a gear splitter. Kind of like your, really it's like the direct and overdrive splitter on a semi. Only this one's manually shifted, not air shifted, of course. But anyhow, so say we want to take off in 5th gear like we do on a lot of stuff, and the cable for this shifter is very stiff. It needs some penetrating juice. But right there is obviously where you'd set the levers. 2nd gear is clear forward. I'm not going to stress that one very much, because if you can see down in there, yeah, that one's been broken welded once before. So just kind of got to leave well enough alone on that. I also mentioned Carl's love of stainless steel. If you notice the throttle pedal there, yep, it's one of his creations. It's all stainless steel. So, let's see, what else can I go over? It does have heat and air conditioning. Here's your controls for that. Here's your blower fan and your windshield wiper controls. You got four vents blasting straight at you. This one's on a bit of a offset jobby-do, so you can kind of point the air different directions, but they're all pretty crusty. And then, of course, like I said, just about all of the cab interior panels, sound deadening panels, are all gone on this. And I figure what we'll end up doing as we work on this tractor, I mean, you can tell just from me talking in here how rattly and echoey it is, and I can guarantee it won't be any quieter at all under operation. So just about any place we can, we're going to put sound deadening material like Dynamat or Boom Mat or whatever, just to take as much of the noise out of this cab as we can, because of course, yeah, I mean, everything rubber needs replaced. But I do actually have hopes and dreams of using this tractor. Once again, here looking right there, that top shaft is coming back from your clutch. Your 2-speed unit is actually in this chunk right here, and then that right there is your drive shaft going forward into the front axle. There's all your hydraulic lines that go from the front half to the back half. That is your 2-speed shifter linkage, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And to tell you the God's honest truth, I'm not 100% sure how the PTO works on these. Well, wait a minute. I thought I might have just learned something here. Yeah, okay. So that does move a cable. It does not move a valve like I thought it did. I'm sorry, I kind of lied to you guys already. My apologies. Oh, let's see if we can tell if anything moved here. Nope. Like I said, that linkage there is for the 2-speed. Let's go around the other side. Give you another shot of this bucket ordeal. He had a need and he had the material, so he made something work, I reckon. Oh, okay. I'll bet you right here. I'll bet you this is the Pto shifter. I'll bet you dime to a dollar that's what it is. And then this here, like I said, the shift linkage on these is all cable. And this is your range shift, or your bottom shaft shifter, and this is your top shaft shifter. They did something different. Because see, now I can't speak for the 4620, but I do know the 4520. That cover is basically flat. And on that one, you see how it's got that big pointed hump in the top of it there. So I don't know. Of course, they also ran a couple of lines and a T in the top of it. What for and why, I don't know yet. These 4-wheel drives are kind of different to me. Yeah. And if you can see there through the glass, you can see the ends of the cables where that connect to the shift levers. But anyhow, I think I've rambled on about this tractor so far long enough. Another thing that's kind of different, where they move the fuel tanks over to the sides, you know, saddle tanks on these, your whole front end up here is laid out different. Now, I don't know if that hood is the same as 4620. I hope it is, because I'm afraid this hood is just a little too far gone. But you see this great big shroud right here. They've got this, you know, and your fan sits right in there. This is your radiator. This is your transmission cooler. Yeah. But anyhow, what they did is they kind of, in a way, scooted the nose back a little bit on these, for lack of a better way to say it, where there's no fuel tank up here. And then you had a grill screen that went here. And of course, same place over on the other side. And then there was another grill screen that went in here, and then obviously this one is normal. And then there's a cover plate that goes over here. Or is there? There may not be. But anyhow, your batteries actually sit right there on this one, which actually is a pretty handy place to have them, I think. So anyhow, that's just kind of a introductory overview on the 7020. When I have updates, I'll post them for you. But that's all I got for right now. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm kind of excited. P.S. What do you guys think this tractor would look like with a set of fenders, flat top fenders, like what was on the 45 and 4620s, some 4320s, and a few of the 4020s, the big squared flat top fenders, two of them facing forward here with headlights in them. I know we got those two down there and two more up on the cab, but hey, more light is more light. And then come around back here, mount another pair of them with the lights facing backward, and have either work lights and red tail lights, or all red tail lights. I mean, I know we got two there on the cab and we got flashers up there on the corner, but as I said, more light is more light. I kind of want to do it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.